Sujimoto Ogundele is a well-connected young businessman whose entry into the Nigerian real estate sector caused quite a splash a few years ago. In just a few years, his company, Sujimoto Construction Limited, earned a prominent spot in the public imagination as one of the Nigerian's most leading luxury solution provider in the real estate sector. But for many, the man behind Sujimoto remains an enigma of sorts. His styles, philosophy, and claims have been as intriguing as they have been controversial. His company's Japanese name, which he says is the surname of a Japanese philosopher who views alter his thinking positively, is quite unusual in the Nigerian business lexicon. His theories of leadership, business, and enterprise are also very much unconventional. For example, he calls his guiding business philosophy Dangotism, a body of principle that centers on the idea and actions of African famous businessman and richest man Aliko Dangote. He once says, in order to achieve your goal, you need to be willing to lose friends, girlfriends, and even family members. You must be willing to be misunderstood because many people will argue with your dreams as if it's theirs. You must be prepared to be unreasonable. When he clocked 20, Ogundele's first rental property was ready. His mother handed over the building to a real estate agent to manage. At the end of each year, the caretaker would call him and deliver a message that was music to his ear. Your rent is ready. As a young man, Ogundele also had a chance encountered with one of the Nigerian's biggest democracy icon and presumed winner of the annual June 12 presidential election, the late MK Abiola. His encounter with the businessman left a lasting impression on him. In 1993, I met Chief MKO Abiola. He shook my hand, held it firmly, and asked, "What's your name, young man?" I told him, Olasijibomi, and he said, Oluwa Oshejibwe, may the blessing of God overshadow you. And I believed it. The 5 minutes I spent with MK Abiola planted a seed in my life, a seed that fed my ambition. It ignited a divine hope in me that I didn't come to this world in vain. That made me to develop an extreme animosity for poverty and great hunger for success. In June 2018, after the acknowledgement of Abiola's victory at June 12 presidential election by President Muhammad Buhari, Ogundele referred his meeting with Abiola on an Instagram post and offered 5 million naira to anyone who could help him to find the photograph taken at the meeting. Sujimoto was born in 1980. Ogundele had a modest upbringing in the Agege suburb of Lagos. He got involved in international real estate while living at different times in Europe, Dubai, and the United States. But he plunged into it when he returned from after his sojourn abroad. In the wake of the success recorded by Ogundele's initial project in Nigeria and the publicity that trailed him, many had expected that his next door big project, the ambiguous Lozenro Tower, would be a walk in the park for him. The real estate sector was booming when he launched Lorenzo, and there was so much cause for optimism in business circle. Several newspapers reported an analysis at the time trumped his boom and projected strong growth for years to come. Many real estate companies showed an eagerness to launch projects to shorten Nigeria's approximately 19 million housing deficit. There were claims that about 700,000 new houses were needed annually to bridge Nigeria's huge housing deficit. In his May 2015 report titled Real Estate Building the Future of Africa, PricewaterhouseCoopers predicted that Nigeria's real estate investment would rise by about 49% from $9.16 billion in 2014 to 13.65 billion in 2016. In April 2016, two of our major investors were assessing the economic situation of the country, especially governmental policies, backed out. One said to me, Soji, if your project were in Togo, we would invest in it. I remember another saying, Soji, we can manage risks, but uncertainty we can't. There is a way that life tries to snatch your dreams away from you and suddenly makes you look incompetent. People told me real estate is a difficult sector. It would be best for you to do something else. The economic crisis shook investors' confidence badly and almost brought Nigerians to a standstill. But for the skillful management of the crisis by the country's economic team, Ogundele described this time as probably the most difficult period of my life. Things were so much bad, he contemplated exiting the real estate market. Among other things, he considered switching careers to farming. I visited a long-time friend water factory in Abeokuta and thought about venturing into the satchel water business. I even traveled to Ijebu Ode, Ogun State and visited some farms because it seems agriculture and farming have become the new oil. Some people advised me to leave everything and run away to America. A supposed best friend whom I lent $2 million was always coming up with excuses. I was so hard up and I tried to sell everything I owned to move to New York City. A successful Nigerian actor who had moved to Atlanta because of the abrupt recession told me life was easier there. Things were stable and I could access credit through a flexible banking system. I was confused and devastated, but words from Napoleon Hill's book kept playing in my head. Your present situation should not determine your destination. In my heart, I knew running away ran contrary to my philosophy. I mustered courage and refocused my life. I reviewed my options and created Gulignaccio de Mexico. I conceptualized, planned, and executed the project on Banana Island under 6 months. Even though I didn't have all the money, I was thankful. It's been the most inspiring, most difficult, and most challenging time for me. The fallout of his Lorenzo troubles almost destroyed his reputation. Friends fled, and prospective clients became wary of doing business with him. It was as if the young man's dream to be a global player in real estate will not live. But years after, Ogundele is back on his feet doing what he knows best: planning, executing, and brokering ambitious real estate deals. In going into a new project on Banana Island, I already bought the land, done all the approval and documentation. I had an asset worth over 5 billion naira, but I needed some cash to start construction, about 500 million to 1 billion. It was a difficult situation. People were skeptical. Finally, I met someone who understood real estate financing and was ready to invest in a new project. I showed him our numbers and showed him some sustainable and durable competitive advantage. He saw 100% return on investment. He's an able man from Owerri, so he doesn't joke with his money. He said, Soji, more than 5 people talked, say make I no give you money, but this deal sweet too. I don't feel like signing this check today. Please come back. It went on and on. He was skeptical and worried, but he finally gave us the money. For 2 months, he was coming to the site, driving around almost every day. Eventually, he was proud of what we were able to achieve in such a short time. My position today is the dividends of hard work, he says. But above all, it is also about the lessons that I've learned from many mentors and CEOs of different multinational companies. Ogundele credits his early start in entrepreneurship to his mother, who backed his first business venture at the age of 12. When he speaks of her, it is with much reverence and fondness. She likes to say that I came into this world for a purpose and that my present situation had nothing to do with my destination. The biggest thing my mother gave me was hope. That particular inspiration fueled my ambition and gave birth to Sujimoto. He says, according to him, he got his first break in the year 2000 at the age of 19 when he struck gold in a real estate deal that earned him a hefty commission of 1 million francs. At the time, he was living in Le Medellin in France in a one-bedroom apartment. I have been doing real estate since 1998, but I lived in the south of France as a common agent with no license. But then I brokered a lot of deals. My major breakthrough came when I bought an apartment in Paris and decided to remodel it. My friends thought I was crazy and lavish, but after I was done renovating, I sold it in less than 2 months to a friend from Qatar for double the price. The investment flipped in such a short time. My interest in real estate had changed my earlier career According to him, forever. his mother's multifarious roles in his life include mentors, teachers, model, and a source of quick interest-free loans in the early days of his business. He cherished all the memories that were linked to each role and loved to dwell on them extensively. He says, when I started doing business and having an income, she encouraged me always and was like my bank. She granted me loans even when it affected her home business. From childhood, my mother believed in so much about me, and I began to believe in myself. She would say, you are a different breed. You were born to lead, to build. You are a gift to your generation. Every opportunity I had, I would visit her in Okeari Market. I also used the opportunity to visit her next door shop owner, Uncle Emeka, and Nnewi businessman, from whom I learned that failure is actually a foundation for resilience and success. He says he drew considerable and lasting inspiration from the personal struggle of his mother, who at the age of 9 was sent to Cameroon as a sales girl, but rose to become one of the biggest distributors of consumer goods giant Nestle Nigeria Limited. She taught me the importance of having a great vision and to work persistently towards making my dreams a reality. She inspires me to become the individual I am today. After my first break in business, I sent half of the money to my mom and instructed her to buy land and start building a house for me. My mom went to Lekki and inspected a parcel of land around Admiralty Way. It sold for 5 million per plot. She didn't buy it because the land was swampy and it might cost more to develop. She didn't consult a professional realtor. She went to a surveyor's friend who got her 3 plots in Ebeda for 3.5 million. She bought she thought she had clinched a deal of a lifetime. She bought 11 flats to generate rental income and a small one-bedroom apartment, popularly called Boys Quarter in Nigeria. She said to me, Soji, you are never in Nigeria, but anytime you visit, instead of spending money on hotels, you sleep in the BQ. By 2021, before then, when a teenager supported and encouraged by his mom, he had invested in Okada business. Okada is the name by which low-fare commercial motorcycles in Nigeria are known. This informal sector transport business facilitated the movement of millions of Nigerians daily from modest fee. I bought one Okada, and in less than 3 years, I had about 6 Okada. I became very popular in the neighborhood, and our house became a sort of Okada bus stop. My dad got so upset he cancelled the business. Creating a successful business starts with seeing an unmet need and then going on to carve a niche around it. But then, for most successful entrepreneurs, it unusually starts with a light bulb going off in someone's head. Before moving back to Nigeria, I visited my aunt who bought a house in Banana Island. After paying so much for the house, I still had to help her change her kitchen doors, tiles, and etc. It was tiring and frustrating. One would expect a house of that magnitude in terms of price to come with quality accessories and interiors. This unpaid assignment, done as a favor to an aunt, triggered a vision, redefined luxury living by exceeding all expectations. When I decided to move back to Nigeria in 2014, I had the vision to liberate the Nigerian luxury estate market and bring true value to customers who were not only tired of architectural mediocrity but also frustrated by the value depreciation. However, as a venture capitalist, I knew the limit of hope. Over time, I created some great companies and I have also lost good money. So I know the inspiration and hope alone are not enough. I know how easy it is to have big dreams and how easy it is for economic and social situations to snatch our dreams from us. Embarking on an entrepreneurial odyssey at a young age is often a daunting and overwhelming undertaking. Ogundele recalls the optimism of his early years in business and how it helped him to navigate many minefields. I was driven by the desire to be my own master and the knowledge that I could control my destiny. I didn't want any hangout, favors, or pity from anyone. I wanted to be given the opportunity to win over prospects, not because people liked me, but because I was able to create a product with a strong and durable competitive advantage. I started my business, Sujimoto Construction, with my personal savings. I didn't need a loan or equity partnership at that time. I started with my own money, and this gave me full control of my business. I worked hard and plowed back all my early profits into the business. The international economic recession had affected my international business, and I was in dire need of money. But it took me a relatively short time to raise the money. I sold my apartment in Paris in euros and changed the money to naira. I compounded the money into millions of naira, which became the foundation on which I started Sujimoto Construction in 2014. Ogundele didn't bother to prepare an exhaustive business plan or financial projection when he started. It was a risk he now admitted, but he added that he was quite familiar with the odds, having gained valuable insight and a good grasp of the fundamentals from his number one mentor. I've learned from my mom that cash flow is key to business success and that the lack of it could destroy my vision. So before I started, I created Moto Finance, a microcredit company that supports SMEs in 2002. I had a major venture capital focus that brought in millions. The support of Moto Finance every now and then gave me the capacity to be financially flexible. In as much as you want those big businesses and huge sum of money, you must create a business that pay you a dividend or generates consistent cash flow. This is a vital boost to your success, he says. When Ogundele landed in the real estate sector in Nigeria in 2014, he attracted more than his fair share of critics. Some felt he was a flash in the pan, others said he was merely lucky. Many predicted that his loud, in your face marketing drive would be his undoing. But everything he had at that time, he said, were all part of a broader plan to quickly, boldly, and smartly seize major market shares. Ogundele believes that entrepreneurs waste too much time, energy, and resources due to a lack of focus. Hence, starting out, he had a consciously crafted value proposition that he believed helped in positioning his new business in a sector clustered with construction titans and streams. I came into the luxury real estate industry at a time when Nigerians were beginning to demand value for their money. The market was littered with substandard development going for exorbitant prices. I did All I did was to offer world-class development, superb furnishing with international standard at affordable pricing. Today, many so-called top developers are using Sujimoto as a case study. Many have copied our designs and are trying to emulate our marketing strategy. Redefining luxury living, that was what I came into the market to do, and it has guided my every move since then. Customers at the time were tired of developers who neither provided true value for their hard-earned money nor paid attention to details. So, in our quest to redefine luxury living, we match prices, quality, and location to give our clients true value for money spent. In the long run, his method worked. The company gained good major market shares, worked on major projects, Medicine Luxury Terrace in Lagos, Accra, Lincoln Avenue, Ghana, and the Grand Melia Hotel of Abidjan. It also entered into strategic partnerships. The company also aligned with the Yazi Alaji Investment Group, a real estate consortium in Saudi Arabia, and forged a strong partnership with Lafarge, a French multinational building material company with heavy presence in Sub-Saharan Africa. Ogundele says his business mentors and models are few. They include some of the continent's leading lights in business, Tony Elumelu, chairman of UBA, Folosho Akija, Nigeria's richest businesswoman and vice chairman of Farm Oil Limited. We had gone 1 month ahead of schedule, about 25% cheaper than. He was so proud of the project that he went from being someone who was cautiously skeptical to someone willing to invest billions of naira in our other projects. With the benefit of hindsight, he spotlights a pitfall he could have avoided earlier as a business entrepreneur. I would have distanced myself from toxic people sooner than I did. People who desire success but whose conversations were about. Before offering your nuggets of wisdom on building successful enterprise, Ogundele has a piece of advice for young people trying to get into business. Stop listening to the voices of pessimists. Lock the doors on the idea that says your dreams are impossible. The day you are able to do this is the day you will stop settling for less. Afterwards, he moves to the four nuggets. First, learn, he says, from both competitors and critics. They are part of the reason I am where I am today. They motivate and inspire me to do more. I don't panic when I hear about their successes. A few of them are bigger than us. Cardwell Properties, for example, I stayed at their properties for 6 months when I moved back to Nigeria. I wanted to understudy and learn from them. I did not aspire to be like them, but to be better, if possible. Second, turn your experiences into motivations. Growing up on the street of Agege, Ogundele saw much poverty around him. I remembered that out of 47 houses on our street, only two people own a generator. This taught me a great lesson that for wealth to be generated, my environment and the people I surround myself with needed to change to be changed. At the tender age of nine, I started tagging along on visit to Ikoyi with the inspiration that someday I also have an opportunity to live here. Today, that dream has become a reality. Without my childhood experiences, I wouldn't be where I am today. Third, integrity begets success. Integrity is the currency of my business. For me, the most important ingredient of success is being a man of your word. Let your word be your bond. Fourth, quality should be central to your service. We always think about how we could do things faster, better, and cheaper for the customer. This is my philosophy. Customers first. Without our customers, you will be out of business. Customers first, employees second, and I third. For the road, it gives an extra nugget of wisdom. To create wealth and be successful, have definite lines separating your assets and liabilities. When you study ultra high network individuals, you will learn that one fundamental difference between successful people and those who struggle through life is that wealthy people invest in strong, reliable assets. That is why the rich get richer by investing in money generating assets. The other half invest in liabilities, and that is why they get poorer. The Nigerian real estate sector has not fully recovered from the recession, and the downtown it suffers. However, business is booming again with interesting developments in Ogundele's niche areas. The biggest of these is the Eco-Atlantic, funded by the federal government, the local state government, and the Chagori Group. It is spread over 10 million square meters of land reclaimed from the Atlantic Ocean. It is self-sufficient and sustainable location that includes state-of-the-art urban design with its own power, water, telecommunications, roads, and over 100,000 trees. One of the promoters of the project, Ronald Chagorij Jr., wrote in a promotional blog, "It is this type of bold, audacious project that Ogundeles like to initiate and execute." As of 2018, Sujimoto is one of the march again. He has gone back to dreaming big and is determined to ride on the new waves of investment and renewed public interest in real estate. His business, according to him, is growing exponentially, comprising Sujimoto Construction and Motomatics, his facility management. Is there a formula that he intends to apply to avoid the pitfalls of the past and make his new business venture succeed? Hard work, diligence, perseverance, and the audacity of hope, he says. Before adding a caveat, entrepreneurship is the toughest game ever introduced to humanity. Ogundele says the international economic recession had affected his business internationally, and I was in dire need of money. But it took me a relatively short time to raise the money. I sold all the properties I had, and I was able to raise some significant figure of money. I've learned from my mom that cash flow is key to business success, and that the lack of it could destroy any vision. So before I started the construction company, I ventured into a microfinancing institution and a company that gave out microcredit to women and people around. My position today is the dividends of hard work, but above all, it is also about the lessons that I've learned from mentors and CEOs of different multinational companies. He once said in an interview. Ogundele credits his early start in entrepreneurship to his mother who backed his first business venture at the very tender age of 12. I've been doing real estate since 1998 when I lived in the south of France as a common agent with no license. Back then, I brokered a lot of deals. My major breakthrough came when I bought an apartment in Paris and decided to remodel it.